Also, I have to mention this about the second home project. Anyone who is over 55 years old with certain amount of money in Malaysia bank, you are qualified to. Of course, you have to show your income, or they have the certain conditions, rules, and you are qualified to get a second home visa. Means you can live there permanently. We have to start from beginning.
Yes.
The second home project requires you have a certain amount of money in Malaysian bank.
Obviously.
So this is a circling, and they want you to have amount of money in Malaysia before you apply for your second home visa. But before you get your visa, you cannot open a bank account in Malaysia. If you cannot open a bank account, how can you put money in Malaysia? So this is a circling.
It's kind of like the chicken and the egg.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the chicken and the egg situation. When obviously when you're the only way that I had to do this, so I know. Because when I first got there, I couldn't get a bank account because I wasn't working.
But many people did. I just asked them. I'm not an expert and study the rule, but you can get a retirement visa not only in Malaysia. You can get in Thailand and maybe some other Asian countries. Study, okay? So you don't have to go out somewhere every 3 months, and you have the right to live there. Okay?
Yep.
Now we come to the negative side. I don't want to say negative side. It's the other side. Okay? For example, daylight is beautiful. It's a positive side. The night is the negative side. We cannot say that.
Here?
Night is beautiful too.
Oh, the night here is gorgeous.
Night everywhere is beautiful. So we say the dark side. Dark side is also not good. Okay, we say the other side. Okay. First of all, the weather. The weather. Okay. Tell us a little bit about Malaysian weather.
They have 2 seasons.
Yes.
Wet and wetter.
Okay.
It is
rain season and dry season.
There's no such thing as a dry season. It's wet and wetter.
Wet and wetter.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And there's a hot season and a cold season.
No. There's no cold.
So it's hot season and hotter season.
It's hot and wet and hot and wetter.
Okay. So it means that all year long is hot and humid, and if you want to bring your fur coat.
What? I honestly, all right.
If you want to wear your high heel.
No, high heel is fine, but what do there's no. There's even you put makeup on, it just melts off. Because honestly, unless you're in air conditioning all the time, which is everything's air conditioned, so that's good on the infrastructure, of course. You don't have power outages and things like that. Everything is air conditioned, but if you don't want to live in air conditioning all of the time, you have got. You get out of the shower and you're sweating by the time you dry off. Because that's just the temperature. It's extremely humid. I would say it's 80% humidity most of the time.
Your clothes never dry?
No. If you don't have a dryer, and you can't find dryers there. Dryers are very difficult to find. I know this not just through myself, not just through expats, through locals. Very difficult to find a dryer. Not even that they're expensive. You can't get them. So everybody hangs their clothing outside. Granted, most people in Putrajaya have maids, and a lot of people in KL and different parts, they have maids from Indonesia that do these things for them. But I don't have maids, so I never had maids, so it's me. I'm the maid. And I hang my clothes, and honestly, it can take a week for those clothes to dry. And they're covered. They're covered. It's not like I hung them out in open sky. I had an overhanging porch area where because you can't leave them out in the sun, there is no bright sun. There might be bright sun for a little bit, but the same reason you never see the stars at night. There's always a cloud cover. It'll get very, very, very sunny but there are clouds like floating all the time.
Okay, since we are here, we jump into the haze problem.
Yes.
So sometimes may not be in a crowd in a certain season.
It seems like over the last couple of years, it had increased to 2 or 3 times a year instead of just once.
They blame Indonesians for this.
They blame the Indonesians for it, for burning. Okay, all right. That part of the world, one of the main industries, actually I think the main industry for Malaysia is palm oil. Okay, and actually I had helped do some marketing for a company, some brochure designs and things for a company who makes fertilizer for palm oil plantations. So this is how I found out about these things as well. So I've been out to the palm oil, the palm tree plantations, and Malaysians in the media and everything like to blame Indonesia and say, oh, they're burning it and it's drifting over here and causing a haze in Malaysia. The wind is bringing it here. But in reality, I've actually driven past the burning
Sites.
palm oil fields in Malaysia, not far from Putrajaya, in fact. And they actually have an index that they use, a haze index, and the school would be closed if it got above a certain point. And many people, native Malaysians, would tell me, oh, they're lying about it today, because it would be officially much lower than it was, and we would have to keep the children in at recess. They couldn't go out and play. It was that bad.
Okay, so you have to deal with a haze problem, not every day.
No,
but every 3 months.
I would say, because what they do, the reason that the haze happens, the reason they burn the trees is because they don't want to chop them down. I think it's every 2 years they have to replace the trees. Okay, you can look it up if you're interested in palm oil and how it's produced, but the trees reach a certain point maturity, and I think it's the height and everything of them, and the giving the best part of their the palm oil seeds, and then they burn them, and they have to rotate and leave that land empty for a certain amount of time before they can replant.
Okay, you don't need to be an expert of this. As far as you remember, you go to Malaysia, you have to deal with haze from time to time, not every day, okay?
Not every day.
So there's another...
But it can last for quite a long time. It can last for a month or more.
The haze every day for about 1 month.
Yeah.
Yes. And of course, this is a tropical?
It's a rainforest, yes.
Rainforest environment. And of course they get all the insects, everything,
You get all the beautiful birds too. Right outside your window you have all the really beautiful tropical birds and the bright greens and everything. But along with it come all of the insects, including mosquitoes the size of chihuahuas.
Okay, the most friendly, hospitable mosquitoes in the world, I think, among them at least. And the mosquitoes will follow you absolutely everywhere. You will never be left alone. You will never be lonely. And they sing and dance and just being with you, keep you company, and to draw your attention all the time.
Yeah, they're your constant companion.
Yeah, okay. So the most hospitable mosquitoes in the world, among them at least. Okay.
And I've had dengue twice. Just saying. I'm just saying.
Okay. So if you love mosquito, you are most welcome to go there. No problem. Okay, you get it every day, and for free everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. And then another thing is that you have to deal with this. I'm not so religious. I believe in God, Allah, Buddha. Any religion I believe in, I respect all of them. I do believe there is a God. There is something beyond humankind's. The wisdom is there. I believe that. But I do not specifically belong to which group. So for me, it's not a problem for Muslim. But if you are against Muslim or something, you have to be prepared, because Malaysia is a Muslim country, and something do bother me is the mosque. I don't know, the Muslims woke up so early.
It's for their prayers, and actually, that's one thing. After having lived in Pakistan and then living in Malaysia, Malaysia has it toned down quite a bit compared to Pakistan. But the mosques with the azan 5 times a day, it's extremely loud, and there is especially in Putrajaya. Again, my experience is Putrajaya living, because Putrajaya is the state capital, like the federal capital, and so it is a Muslim even city. It's dry. There's no alcohol there, no pork there, all of that.
Okay, Putrajaya is the government
Yes.
place, like Washington D.C.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why you can pray quietly.
No.
Why they have
it's
to
a
put
call to prayer, and it's a call to prayer, and it's their way of. It's like community type thing, and it's. And how they, I guess, their alarm clock as well to remind them, hey, time to pray. So, but it's quite disruptive, and make sure that if you are going to live there, that wherever you're going to rent or buy, you are there during the time that an azan should sound. Because there was a fellow teacher, and they rented a house, and then when they moved in, they realized the mosque was right around the corner. And 5 times a day.
Loudspeaker, very loud.
Yes, with a loudspeaker. And there's always going to be a mosque within earshot. You won't be able to find one place without it, because that's the point of it. But where I lived, you could hear 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they kind of compete. They would start slightly off time so that the other could be heard as well.
So very early morning, as a dawn, just see a little light, and they start just singing. Of course, it's good for your health.
Actually, right before dawn.
Yeah, it's good for your health, and you don't sleep oversleep. It's very good. And if you like that, okay, so you know that there are people around you.
Just be aware that that's a fact of life in Malaysia every single day, without fail.
And it's also a test for you still have a hearing ability. That you're not you're not deaf. Okay.
I guess so.
Of course, if you like pork, if you're a pork lover, you will have a problem.
Well, no, you can find it. You won't find it in Putrajaya, and you won't find it in most restaurants. And they won't even serve, like, say, even a restaurant does serve pork, they're not even allowed to cook it in the same thing as they cook chicken. Pork is, even utensils are different that are used for pork. Everything, they have a, yeah.
Anyway, if you're a pork lover, go to Thailand. Okay, Thailand.
And if you, I mean, obviously, as an expat and having a lot of colleagues who are from UK and Australia and all over the world, the teachers like to unwind on a Friday, so that's why we ended up at the golf club, because it was just outside the city limits of Putrajaya, and where you could actually get a drink. Also in KL, you can find a drink in KL, no problem. But that is going to be an issue if you are used to an environment of, hey, I want to just go to the store and get a couple beers. No, you have to plan it out.
So remember to respect their religion, to respect their custom. This is not USA. There is no such a freedom of everything, and respect, and just ask the locals. And anyway, sometimes you want to get what you want, so you have to be prepared. Okay.
Yeah. It's not going to be like Thailand. It's not going to be. Thailand is much more relaxed. It's much more geared towards tourists. Yeah.
Now we come to the final conclusion, or the final key question. This American Krista, what's his name? Christy asked is that he wants to buy a house there.
She.
It's
a girl's
she.
name.
She. Okay. Yeah. Oh, she can. She should.
Why? She should buy a house in Malaysia?
Yeah, I can help her. And sorry, Christy.
Okay, you can help her.
Christy, if you want to buy a house in Malaysia, I can help you. But before that, I strong recommend you to rent a place first, because rent is so cheap, so cheap in Malaysia, and you can basically rent for like $300, $200, $300.
Okay,
$400.
he's talking extremely basic. I will talk to you more about the expat lifestyle. Okay, because I think most people, if they want to retire, they don't want to retire on $500 a month. They want the whole point of retiring so far away from your loved ones is that you can retire and live at a higher standard on the same money. So your $1,000 pension paycheck or whatever you're getting covers everything, or at least most of it, and then your savings can augment that, and you're fine with it. Okay, so I think most people are not looking to find the absolute cheapest, but they're looking for, hey, I can live at a better standard for much lower.
Yeah. Anyway, you can get at least half the price in US or less in Malaysia. You can rent very cheap. Anyway.
Yeah, I would say, okay, I've a lot of the teachers had 3-bedroom houses, 3 or 4 bedroom house, 2-story house. There are no basements in Malaysia because they flood. So remember, it rains all the time. Anyway, about $1,000 a month.
Okay, then buying a property in Malaysia is not as easy, as simple as the rest of the world.